The Frozen North, Episode 12, our top 5 games we'd like to see re-released.
Welcome to episode 12 of The Frozen North, your source for the best that story-focused gaming has to offer. My name is JJ, and I'm here alongside my two co-hosts, Brian.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Brian.
and Mark.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Brian.
Yes.
What, no howdy, y'all?
Yeah, where's the howdy, y'all?
What? That's for the second person that talks.
Oh, sure.
So you were the second person that just talked.
I should have done the howdy, y'all.
That's Brian's turn.
We're all confused now.
Yep, we are all confused.
You threw a wrench, and it happened again.
See,
it's all you,
the only
JJ.
thing is it backfired because I'm confused now too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, howdy, y'all.
There
we go.
There's
How's
what
that
we
work?
needed.
I do that. My throat hurts from doing that.
Yeah.
Ow, actually.
Mark.
Now you know my pain.
Your throat hurts all the time. Okay.
Oh, dirty joke involved.
Nope. Family friendly. That's what we are.
Yep.
Come on, Brian.
Oh my gosh. All right, we are on episode 12, guys.
12.
We're chugging right along. I do that every freaking episode, don't I? Like, I acknowledge what we're on. I noticed that when I was editing last time. I was like, man, I say that every single time at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always noticing that too.
You never listen to it. Don't even lie.
What?
The only time you listen,
I've told you 50%.
50. Hey, that's an F, okay?
Yeah, 50% meaning, oh man, this part really cracked me
Right.
up. So he fast forwards to that one part, listens to it, he's like, yeah, that's funny,
That's
and
really
then turns
funny.
it off.
Oh.
Context, Mark. Context.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? You handle our Twitter, and you're doing a good job with that. So that's
Thank you.
That's all I care
Yeah,
about.
way to go, man.
We got so many followers.
Just real quick, I want to. I know I've been doing the past couple episodes, but it's coming up, so I want to do one quick shout out again to the Speed Gamers, speedgamers.com. Check them out. They're about to do their Zelda marathon for charity, and I believe they are doing it for the victims of the typhoon
Gotcha.
recently.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely check them out. The marathon starts December 13th, goes through the 16th, so they literally just are going to play Zelda games all through those days and stream the whole thing, and it's a blast. They
Sounds
do
like
crazy
fun.
dares and anything to get donations, and it's always a good time. So, what you guys been playing? I know what you've been playing.
I have pretty much been playing exclusively Star Ocean till the end of time.
Oh man,
Yep.
I would say, what do you think of that? But we'll get into that.
Yeah,
in our
we'll
review.
review it.
Mark, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Star Ocean till the end of time, and I think that subtitle really sums it up for me.
Yes.
I felt like I was playing till the end of time.
Very long game.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, you guys also crammed it in the last
I mean, I had to just skip
2
as much
weeks.
as I could. I was skipping mobs. I was just running.
Yep. Is that pretty much all y'all been playing?
Yeah, I popped the disc in for Mass Effect 2.
Woo!
Oh.
Nice. Well, I have been playing Mass Effect 2 as well, and I am
Nice.
in love with it. It's incredible. And then I finished Star Ocean till the end of time as well. I finished it probably, Wednesday or something like that of this week.
Yep.
So a few days ago. And again, we're going to get into that here in a little bit. But before that, we will go ahead and hit into our news. Brian, what do we got this week?
All right, guys. Here's your news. The PSN, or as I like to call it, the PlayStation Network, they're having some issues. Sony disabled some features. Basically, what this was Black Friday. There was a lot of consoles sold, and their redeeming voucher servers got just bombarded by people, obviously, redeeming games. They shut it down for the time being, and they said they're going to investigate it further. Basically, just a big Black Friday meltdown at that point.
So it says PSN. Do you know if that affects PS3s also?
It just any redeeming voucher goes off the same. It's off the same.
So it's just the whole.
Yeah,
network,
they
the whole
were
kit
they
and
were getting
caboodle.
slammed with
Wow.
people because I mean when we went to GameStop at midnight, it was like I looked at my brother and I was like, "What?" We went to 2 of them and they had about the same amount of line. One of them wrapped around the building, so you can imagine if that's at every GameStop all over the United States. You can imagine the Sony was slammed with.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Our next bit of news: Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD remaster actually got a release date. It is slated for a USA on March 18th of 2014, and then in Europe Town on March 21st.
That's
You literally wrote down Europe Town.
Yes, Europe Town.
that's
Also,
PS3, right?
yes.
Yes, it is.
They also
Excellent.
announced that pre-order fans will get automatically upgraded free to the limited edition version of the game, which features exclusive concept art, book, and packaging.
Has there been a date announced for the Vita version, though?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I would assume it's the same, but they didn't mention that in the article.
So we don't know for sure.
No.
Okay.
Also, the video game awards, the VGX nominees have been announced. If you head over to spiketv.com or spike.com, you can get a list of them. As you would imagine, BioShock Infinite, GTA 5, and The Last of Us have a ton of individual nominations going for them. There's a lot of others, but I don't have time to read them all off to you, so I will just recommend going to spike.com and checking them out.
Do you know who the celebrity personality is going to be this time?
No, I do not. But if you go over to spike.com, I'm sure it'll tell you. I just read the nominees page, so that was all I perused.
What do you think? Game of the year?
Honestly, The Last of Us. If it's not, it'll be a big upset. I've played both. I played two of the nominees,
Yeah.
and BioShock Infinite, while good, Last of Us was
Spectacular.
yeah.
I think it should go to Rise.
Yeah, that game looks pretty good. For you Persona fans, Persona 5 has been announced coming to the PlayStation 3. It's finally happening. Coming exclusively to PS3, and it will be out in Japan at the end of 2014. However, they actually don't know if and when it's coming to the West. So
I wanted to, when I saw this, I was like, okay, cool, another Persona game. But I've heard so much about this series.
it's huge
And,
following,
like,
man.
Yeah, people who like it, they love it, and they just can't shut up about it. I would like to try to get into it. I'm scared though, because I've heard how difficult it is.
I've heard they all start very slowly as well.
Well, I mean, I'm not worried about that. But like, I want to know if anybody could like just shoot us an email or hit us up on Facebook, whatever. What's a good game in that series to start with? That if you have not played any of them, you just heard people say like, "Oh my gosh, you got to get into the Persona series," blah blah blah, whatever. I've heard good things about 3 when it was big.
I think everybody's consensus is 4 is
Also,
4.
yeah.
Which one's the easiest?
Are they all connected story wise?
I have no idea. I actually am not a Persona.
No, they're not. They're not.
I'm being
connected.
told no by our producer.
Okay. We have got a couple of guests in the studio
in
with
the
us
studio,
today.
Yeah,
So we're kind of getting
we're getting feedback.
feedback. Is that what you call
Okay, moving on. PlayStation Plus for the holiday season has for December announced Borderlands 2 and Grid 2. For obviously they're free, that's amazing. Borderlands 2 is not old at all. It's maybe a year old. Vita owners get a couple of racing titles. So F you Vita owners. I mean, come on. I keep checking on the Vita PlayStation Plus, and it's
Hey, Vita has a great game.
I knew JJ would just eat that one up. Yeah,
know what
so
you're talking
you're not
about.
getting much on the Vita. I think Sonic Racing.
Oh yeah, like Borderlands 2 was going to help the Vita. Come on.
Sonic Racing is for the Vita, so that's going to be awesome.
I have Sonic Racing on my Wii U.
Oh,
it's
weird.
awesome.
Okay. World of Warcraft, the movie, slips again to March of 2016. The already long development of World of Warcraft film has been again delayed. Looks like they're shooting for a March 11th of 2016 release date. That's moved back from the original December 18th, 2015 release date. So
We've been
They
waiting so
haven't-
long already.
and they never gave a reason for the delay. So F that and F you.
You
Does
know what though?
anyone, Does anyone expect this to be a good movie?
That's the thing, like, because I got the virtual ticket for BlizzCon, so I was watching the
Yeah.
whole thing, and I'm sure you can probably see YouTube videos or whatever on the whole thing now. But they sat down and they talked about it, and while they really didn't, like, they were like, we're gonna have a whole panel on the movie, it's gonna be great. They really didn't say
Right.
anything new, but they did say, like, the director was up there and he was saying like that the Lord of the Rings movies were hugely inspiring to him, and I know that's a tall order, but he was saying that he's aiming for something like
Similar.
that or bigger. He's like, something of this scope. World of Warcraft is so huge and deep with its lore that to not try to make it as epic and as good as possible, like the Lord of the Rings movies, would just be an incredible injustice to anybody involved with the game and the people that developed it. So hopefully, we'll see what happens.
I'm hoping the delays mean they're working extra hard.
Yeah.
But you can never tell.
It's gonna be. It's just we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
It's the only thing we can do.
Yep.
So
moving on, this one really piqued my picometer. Telltale Games is developing a Game of Thrones game similar to the Walking Dead title. Wow! All I have to say, that's the first thing I said was, oh my goodness. If
they're the ones to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
The way they made Walking Dead, if they can capture the same spirit of the movie, the Game of Thrones, that game is going to be awesome. If it is as good as Walking Dead, then holy ball striker S-Bang. So
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's just my excitement coming out.
That's what he wrote on the notes.
Yes. See, it says right here, holy ball striker shite bang.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No,
am I too late to chip you on that?
No, you're
think you
not.
should.
I'm
But
not too late.
Go ahead and eat
so
a
I
chip.
can
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
I think that's
No,
super exciting, though. That's
moment's gone.
that's
Moment's
the
gone.
team to do it.
Absolutely.
They're
That's
going
why I
to
was,
if they're going to make us hurt when we're making decisions, the way they did with The Walking Dead.
oh, yeah.
Then they've really done their job.
Well, and the article actually brings up a really good point about how Telltale want 400 days, right?
Yep.
So the way George R.R. Martin wrote A Dance of Ice and Fire is each book kind of tells a different story from a different perspective.
Song,
yeah, whatever. Sorry. Song
the
of
story of Ice and Fire.
It's
every chapter is a different character.
correct. And so in 400 days, that's literally what.
Correct.
And so I feel like Telltale's kind of setting it up to.
I think they will do a marvelous job if it's anywhere near as good as The Walking Dead. So, you know what? I can't wait. I think it's gonna be great.
Next order of business, EA on their acquisition of the LucasArts / Disney deal. They're going to be making Star Wars games for the next 10 years, according to the deal they made.
3 cheers for EA.
Well, I mean, hear me out.
No.
Once they fix all the bugs in
Yeah.
Battlefield 4.
Exactly. The games may borrow a little bit from the J.J. Abrams film, but in the article they talk about that they don't want to make games that are exactly like the film, but they will borrow elements from it. Like I said, Disney and EA signed a 10-year deal, so expect a lot of Star Wars games being churned out here soon. And they don't want to retread old territory, which that seems okay to me. Like, they're not going to make a, here's another Old Republic, here's another, so they're going to try to get out some new IP as far as Star Wars are concerned. Moving on, the Xbox On voice command powers up console, and I'm quotating here, faster than you can find your controller. Interesting.
What if my controller's
I have heard, and
right
I have
there?
heard, I have heard that it is actually pretty incredible as far as being able to recognize you. I have a lot of people that own the Xbox One have told me that it's you walk in, you say Xbox On, and it turns on. I mean, I know that's every smart TV.
Mark's seen it in action.
Yeah, I have. It's fine.
Well, tell me about in the article.
No, I saw it and we watched about an hour of videos without talking at all, and it kept thinking we were trying to give it voice commands. Happened like 20 times in an hour.
Oh,
so,
boy.
like, the volume on the TV is, like, affecting the
Like
actual
it's hearing
system?
words with X's in them and thinking that
Got
someone's talking to the console.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, there's going to be issues.
So if somebody's, like, in a show and they say, man, I really just pissed my ex off,
Yes.
boom, your system turns off.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
Some Xbox One pre-orders arrived early and revealed a 17-second boot time, but Larry Major Nelson Hribe's most recent video shows a boot time of 13 seconds. However, and this is using voice activation, however, it's not clear if this is a cold boot or whether it's simply using Xbox One's standby and resume feature. Either way, Kinect will detect the player immediately and sign them into their relevant Xbox Live account, which is pretty sweet. And it's, like I said, in quotations, faster than you can find your controller. So that's a bit of news there.
That's sometimes true.
All right.
Sure. Moving on. Big on other news that piqued my picometer. Bethesda trademarks Fallout 4 in Europe. So, I mean, there have been clues to
Yeah.
the Fallout 4 thing, but this is kind of a
I saw that article and I was like,
yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's just suggesting that we might be seeing a Fallout 4 in the near future.
I played some Bethesda stuff.
Yeah, Bethesda. They're Bethesda.
I got into the Elder Scrolls beta finally.
Nice.
Are you allowed to talk about that?
Well, I can tell you one thing. No, I'm not allowed to talk about it. So I mean, without obviously delving
Make a
too
sound.
deep in it, I'd say it's definitely worth a shot. Like if you like Skyrim, you like the other games, it's definitely worth a look. I think it'll be very, very like individual as far as
So is it
who's
more-
going to like it. It's going to depend on the person.
Is it more or which one? That one?
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it.
I just want to know. Like, make a sound. Like they can't
I don't.
make one of the sounds. Is it?
No, I liked it. I did.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like it's something that I think people should like. If you're a big Elder Scrolls fan, I think you should definitely try it and check it out and just see for yourself whether you like it or not. Because
Right on.
I think, like, there's definitely, and judging by like the chat and stuff in game and everything, people definitely are having different views about it. But I think it's really going to depend on the person and how much they like the series itself. So I say check it out for sure.
Right on.
Definitely. But again, yeah, I can't give any specific details. So.
Well, that's it for news, guys.
All
News
right.
for this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh man,
All right, then. What do we got next on the
means
list?
we're moving on to.
We're moving on to Spotlight.
Moving on to our spotlight for this week.
Do we want to mention our interview from last week?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was able to open up a bit of dialogue with Caleb, the developer for Chaos Drift, and the game we talked about on our last episode. And if you go to our blog, you just go to our Facebook page. There's a link there. It's there's a whole interview that I did with him. Really, really nice guy, and gave us some pretty good info on there. So go check it out for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The game looks great.
Yeah.
So
Well, the game we're talking about this week is Stasis. It's called a 2D isometric sci-fi horror adventure game. It's by a man from Johannesburg, South Africa. His name is Christopher, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Bischoff.
Yeah. That
Bishop.
sounds right.
So anyway, it's like I said, isometric horror. It's the guy who's designing it is a graphic artist, so it's gorgeous. It looks amazing. Brian, have you played a lot of adventure games? I don't think JJ has.
Like when you say
Like
adventure
classic
games,
point and click PC
Day of the
adventure games.
Yes.
Day of the Tentacle,
Yes.
Monkey
I
Island.
played
Gallon.
Myst.
In fact,
that's
it's
fair.
one of my favorite genres. I have the entire Sam of Max series. Telltale Games is basically one of my favorite websites at this moment.
Nice. So yeah, he's definitely taking a lot of inspiration from those kinds of games, the classic isometric adventure games.
Awesome.
It's basically the story is you're playing John Marichek. He's a man who wakes up from stasis on a derelict spaceship named the Groom Lake, and he's trying to find his family while uncovering disturbing details surrounding the fate of the ship. The game's got 6 days to go. It's currently raised $91,000 of its $100,000 goal. There's a little bit of a lull there in the middle, but it looks like it's starting to pick up steam. There's usually a rally right at the end, so I think it's going to definitely make it.
Very cool.
And I'll say one thing, like when Mark first told me about this game, he linked it to us and stuff, and he said we should talk about it. I was kind of like, point and click really normally isn't my thing. Like you said before, I haven't played that many of them. But I mean, I went to the site and I looked at this thing, and I mean, these screenshots, the environments and stuff, it's gorgeous. It really is. The everything seems so detailed, and it seems like when you look at it and you listen to some of the music and stuff, it seems very, very moody. Like it'll just kind of just pull you in and suck you right into the world, which is
Definitely.
very, very cool. So I'm definitely looking forward to this.
Yeah, you can go to his website and download a demo. It's about an hour worth of gameplay. It's not like a lot of horror games where it just jumps out and tries to scare you right away. It kind of builds up that sense of dread.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
very nice. And
Very
you
nice.
you were able to get in contact with the developer as well, right?
Yeah, I talked a little back and forth on Kickstarter, and he agreed to do a kind of email interview-ish kind of thing. So
Very cool.
And we'll be posting that probably a couple of days after this episode comes on. So definitely look for that. Again, it'll be on our blog. So,
Yeah.
but I've looked at the interview and it's solid. Mark asks questions that make me feel so dumb. Like, I mean, you're
What's
so much
the-
smarter than I am. It's ridiculous.
He's like, what's
Not
the
as smart as
radius
Brian,
of
though.
the?
You know what I mean.
Of the,
when you look at the interview and you see what he asked, it's
cornucopia.
like, man, it's so like detailed and in depth. It's no, he did a great job with it. So, oh my gosh, you guys actually high-fived. Last time you missed.
Oh.
That worked. I'm impressed.
Yeah,
Hey, man, we're the brain trust over here.
we are. I like to
Something.
be smart.
I would like you to be smart too.
Yeah.
All right, so definitely, yeah, go to Kickstarter. Check out Stasis, Stasis. Looks very, very cool. And with that, we'll move into our review. We're going to be reviewing Star Ocean Till the End of Time, which is the third game of the series.
Or as I like to call it, Sotiot.
Brian, why don't you give us a noise to as a segue that reflects the wonderful plot twist in this game.
I'm just going to give you the noise that I hate the most about the game. My money! My money!
What are you doing?
I hate you guys!
Ugh, those guys. Good stuff.
Wait, you know what, though? Can I just say that those guys made no sense.
Nope.
No
I
sense
loved
in the
it.
whole game until the very end. And I was like, oh.
Until the twist.
Yeah,
makes
exactly. And then I was
sense,
like, oh, that's why they're there. Okay. So, I
Yep.
mean,
Absolutely. So, Star Ocean Till the End of Time, developed by Tri-Ace. I got this game for you guys a month ago. Been playing it since.
yep.
Yeah, what did we do wrong to deserve this punishment?
You know what? You said you liked it all the way up until that part.
I did.
And I warned you guys about. I said you're gonna facepalm. I'm just telling you right now, it's gonna happen. Just wait. Okay, so we'll just get right into it. We'll start with the pros. Since I'm more like concerned to hear what you guys have to say, I'll just go first and knock mine out of the way. My pros. I mean, a lot of people probably wouldn't agree with me on this first one, but I like the characters in it. I think I'm not talking about the voice acting.
Right.
But the characters themselves, I think they're all very diverse and everybody has their own unique individual personalities, and I think that's kind of cool. The environments themselves, for a PS2 game, I think the game looks great. It's very, very beautiful and very detailed. And the third one that I have is kind of like, it goes along with the whole series, not just this game. The Star Ocean series is like, it's a blend between sci-fi and fantasy. Like you are on spaceships, you're in outer space going from planet to planet, doing all this stuff, but when you go down to certain planets, you are in a fantasy setting with magic and swords and all the good stuff there. And I think just
Not magic, symbology.
yeah. But I think it blends the two very, very well. And all the games do that in the series. So I think that's pretty cool. So Mark, why don't we start with you? What are your pros?
All right. I really wanted to get a lot. This is like a pro con. I really wanted to get a lot more into the sci-fi aspect of the game because it was really cool. Spaceships flying around, the Federation, the Clausians, just all that stuff.
Yep.
And most of the game was me with no, like, against my will, trapped on a ancient planet.
I completely agree.
Yep.
So, but I really enjoyed those parts that you did get to be in the futuristic settings, and I did enjoy the Elicor 2 setting as well. Not the first planet you go to. That kind of
Right.
Well, there's not really much on that one.
yeah.
Right.
It's a village and a bad guy's base.
Yep.
I did get into the characters. I didn't like them at first, but after a few hours, they grew on me.
They grow on you, yeah.
I hate to admit it. And I wish more RPGs would do this. More JRPGs would do this. Avoidable battles. If I'm not in the mood to fight, I don't have to.
Yep.
Yep.
That's awesome. It was
For
it
sure.
was a real joy to play up until a certain part.
Yeah, I hear you. Ryan?
Pros for me, the combat. I actually like that combat system. I like having freedom of movement. It had an element of strategy with the whole 100% focus being a shield and then seeing the power moves. That said, you know how I've always said on this, I was playing the game on normal and I still found the game just a tad bit easy. Only recently in the very last level have I found the enemies to be a little bit more of a challenge.
It spikes quite a bit.
It does.
Yeah.
It's pretty spiky, but all in all, I got that move, Dimension Doorway, and it does 60,000 damage a hit. So I just spam that, and generally, but I overall I liked the combat. I like the free range of movement. I like that you can take control of your other party members if you need to, but you can also make them do that. I liked the characters. However, that comes with a caveat of I feel like if you're not a JRPG fan, you won't like the characters based on the fact that they're very archetype, like they're the archetype. Yeah,
stereotypical.
Jeez, they're very stereotypical Japanese RPG characters.
Yes,
you've
definitely.
got your strong man, you've got your weak woman. I mean, you've got your crazy guy, you've got your really annoying kid.
Yep.
I mean, so you can kind of see it, but I for one liked it. I enjoyed having the diversity of characters, the setting of the game. Also, I liked the whole sci-fi. Yet you go down to this underdeveloped planet, and you're kind of in medieval times.
Yep.
Kind of get best of both worlds. It falls apart for me, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a minute.
All right. Well, we'll move on to cons then. Again, I'll go ahead and start us off. You know what? I found it, and I like this game a lot, but I found it a lot easier to come up with cons than I did.
Yeah,
pros.
exactly.
And I hate doing that because I really did like it. But first one I got is that some of the cutscenes, there's a lot of times where you're watching them and there's just really awkward pauses, and some of them can drag on a little long and have some unnecessary info that it's why are we even talking about this? Come on. And you just want to kind of get it, move along, let's go, let's move forward, let's do this. I mean, when there's a good plot point and something happens, it's great. It's really, really cool to see. But there's a lot of unnecessary stuff in there where it's okay, really?
Absolutely.
And a lot of times I like that. In the Tales series, a lot of those games have tons of side stuff that doesn't really have anything to do with the main story. But the way they present it and the way they do it really does add to the game. I think in this one, it kind of just... it drags a little bit and it bogs it down in some places. Some of the voice acting, like I mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of it. It got really, really, it's very over the top. I have not tried the Japanese voices, but as far as the English voices, the default, it's
shaky.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sold. It's not all the characters, but you can definitely, it's oh my gosh, dude, just let me put on some music or something because I don't want to hear it talk. I'll read subtitles. Third thing is this goes along with what Mark was saying. There is a heck of a lot of backtracking, and you tend to just go to the same areas over and over again. And like Elikor, when you're trapped on that planet, you're there for a good 75% of the game, and you're literally just going to the same areas over and over again. You're not really going to any place new. And with the potential of this whole sci-fi aspect on there, it really doesn't grasp that enough as much as I think it should. And what sucks is that the other games are the same way. They really, really focus a lot on one area, one planet. And I really wish they would have just added a little more sci-fi. And I love fantasy.
I agree.
I totally do, but I really wish they would have kind of just evened it out a little more and not focused so much on one side.
Yeah.
And then the last con that I have is this is just a con. It depends on who you are. But the plot twist.
Yeah.
We won't say what it is because we don't want to spoil it, but...
No, I'm going to spoil it because it's an old game, and I want to talk about it. Because it does... Well, let's hear me out. When I come to my cons, it does something to the game that I feel like people... I mean, it's an old enough game that we'll just say spoiler. If you don't want to listen, don't. But I gotta
fast forward about 5 minutes right now if you don't want to hear it.
Yeah, because I'm going to get into spoilers because I feel like it has a kind of microcosm throughout the whole game.
Sure.
So, first of all, I'm going to get through my normal cons.
Yeah.
What is up with the sound in this game? They had a horrible time mixing the sound. The music, I wanted to find a music button and just turn it off because I couldn't hear. I don't like playing with subtitles. I like to have it more of like a movie setting.
Yep.
I had to turn them on because I couldn't hear. I'm like, what is the music? Like the battle music is playing, blaring while they're like having a calm, nice little scene. And you're like,
the sound levels were not even at all.
They didn't dim the sound ever.
Yep.
It's worse than the show.
Yeah.
Just kidding. You're awesome, JJ.
That was a con. Another con, like JJ said, it was a pretty sci-fi-ish game, but they really just put you on Elikor.
They could have done a heck of a lot more with it.
I mean, granted, it made up for it at the end when they're the Vendini ships fly in and you're like, oh, now the underdeveloped planet's wondering what the heck these giant things in the air are.
The celestial ship.
I thought another con is I thought a lot of the story plot lines were very disjointed. By that I mean at some like random points you're going down in this huge cavern and fighting an ancient dragon who talks, and it's like that could have been its own game, but you're just gonna go ride him, Hey, we're gonna beat you, so we're gonna ride you.
He has to carry the cannon.
And I did not. Another con is I did not like the backtracking. When I go through 5 levels of a dungeon and I get to the end, I don't want to then run back out through the same 5 levels.
That was my favorite.
I hate it. Like the Shrine of Kadan. Twice you have to go all the way to the very end. Well, those like blocks that move up and
the
down.
face blocks.
Not the face blocks, but the that before you get to the Shrine of Kadan.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't want to run through all that.
Brian, I'm going to slap
do it
you,
every time.
Just an FYI.
Why?
Because you made me say, let's fast forward ahead 5 minutes, and now you're going into this tirade about all this other stuff, and you haven't even mentioned the freaking spoiler yet.
Okay, I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. My last con was listen here, everybody. So I didn't like the backtracking.
Yep.
And then my last con is the plot twist, and here's why. The game started to get stupid for me. It was awesome. I liked the setting, and then I really the peak of the story for me was when the Vendini ships fly into the planet and all the the war is going on, and the Vendini ships warp in, and all the people who are fighting this measly little war are like, what? And then the ship just rains down fire. And then
you're having a fight with swords and shields,
and then this giant
spaceships come
right?
down.
So I'm like, oh man, this can go so many good ways. And then what happens? Fate goes Super Saiyan and evaporates the ship. And I'm like, okay. And
it's the only time he does it in the entire game.
and I let that slide. I was like, okay, Fate's something special with Fate. And then they're flying on the dragon, and all of the fleet comes by, and all of a sudden that red light shoots, and all the ships are gone. All of them. I'm like, okay, this is getting stupid. Why is there no like awesome battle with the Vendini? Then you start talking about the 4D okay, I'll accept that, right? The 4D, cool. I'm even stretching it to that point. 4D beings, yes, I get it. They have another dimension. And then you go through the time gate. And then you find out that you are literally a video game character. That the people in the 4D universe are playing you as a massively multiplayer game. And it literally takes the entire story and it makes it, what's the word I'm looking for? Inconsequential?
Yeah.
Makes everything that happened
I disagree,
pointless.
but that's the word you're looking for, yeah.
It makes everything that happened pointless. Like, there was just, the little kid that was playing as you guys or whatever, a big fan.
Well, he wasn't playing. He wasn't playing.
Flad. He was like a big fan of you guys. He was like,
he was a fan of the game. He
Yeah.
didn't know who you were.
Right. And then it just devolves into, and then like I said, I've said this a million times about JRPGs. It devolves into this weird, random, where I'm trying to go find the, Luther, the creator, in some weird spiral of doom in the middle of space.
Because you don't want to get deleted.
It does what every JRPG game does that I hate.
It magnifies it by like 30,
it does.
though. Yeah.
To the point where you're just like, this is getting ridiculously stupid. And I did the last 3 level, like the firewall level and then the spiral tower, I hated that. I'm like, this is what every JRPG does, and I hate it. Why does it have to be so weird? Like, why? Yeah.
You really have to take it with a grain of salt.
Yes, but that's. I mean, I know I got a little harsh there, but that was my biggest.
No, that's one of the main reasons I picked this because
it's
I
divisive.
Really want to like just get you guys' opinion on that.
Yeah.
And stuff. I agree with a lot of the stuff you're saying. Absolutely. It's when I first saw that the first time I played the game, I like cocked my head to the side and I'm like, did I just read that right? What?
I actually facepalmed it. You know how you have the reaction sometimes when something's so stupid, you go like that?
Yeah.
I did that with like involuntarily, like, oh no. I was like, it's not happening.
It is. It's a little over the top. Mark, what about your cons here?
First, I want to say I actually really liked the twist in the game.
See?
Interesting.
I'm so glad I picked
interesting.
this.
I liked the
I'm
twist.
neutral on it.
But,
I think
okay,
it's all right.
why-
For me, hold on. For me, the twist isn't that foreign to things we've seen in other movies and games, and it kind of twists who the protagonists are in that and who the antagonists are.
Yeah.
Whereas in like something like The Matrix, the machine is the bad guy, and the people outside of it are the good guys. And this takes a completely different approach to it. Like, why are they bad? Just because they're not real?
Yeah, but the execution of the twist was the worst
No,
part.
agreed. It was actually... even though I liked the twist, it was where it starts to go completely wrong and become a bad game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just because it's so far out of left field.
Right. You're
It's
like,
not-
what?
And what's the frustrating part for me is, like I said, I didn't mind it as much just because I you know me, I play millions of JRPGs and I just kind of take everything with a grain of salt because I expect it. But that part that you were talking about when the Vendini ships come down is so incredible.
It's
and
the
can
best
go
part of the game.
So many different
Yes.
ways because it's, I mean, literally, you're hacking away at people with swords and stuff. And I mean, think about it. If we were living in medieval times and spaceships came down as
Just
we
started
were
raining
fighting,
fire. Yeah.
dude, come on. I mean, so many things could have happened with that scene.
And that's what I was thinking.
And the whole game could have they could have right there switched over to sci-fi and
Yeah.
done everything and concentrated on that. Stopping a war on a planet to stopping a war for the galaxy.
Exactly.
Not
then
we're
you got-
all characters
in
in
a video game, and the executioners are a program design. Like,
It's frustrating. It really
it
is.
was. That's the word.
One thing I found interesting, though, was so on Elcor 2, the Vendini ship arrives, and to the consciousness of somebody who is a potato farmer and uses swords, this giant thing shooting lasers down from the sky looks like a god.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then this idea that these things come from 4D space,
Also decent.
the amount of consciousness they have, even as an advanced race, is so small
Right.
in comparison that these guys appear as gods to them as well.
Yeah.
So that was a cool
It was a
thematic
cool layer.
return.
Absolutely.
I agree
But
completely.
then it got stupid after
exactly. Like like I said, when they started talking about the 4D beings, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to accept that because it's putting another layer. Like first, the Vendini show up. You're playing as Fate, so your level of technology looks like gods to the people you're on the planet with, and then these 4D beings show up, and they look like gods to the people that you're with, like to Fate, and then you're just in a video game. Like it's like the most anticlimactic.
Yeah.
And then you go fight the creators, like the programmers must die. Like, huh?
My
Yeah.
my biggest complaint is Fate. When something bad happens, and he would just go, "No!"
Okay,
and
look
it would
up at
be
the sky.
really bad.
This game would have been the coolest game in the entire world had it gone like this. The video game twist happens, and you go into the portal, and you end up in like some office in downtown LA, and you're like murdering everybody in that office, trying to kill all the pros. That would have been much cooler.
Don't delete me.
Like, don't delete me. Oh, chopping like just people in suits and like nerds with
Yeah.
glasses. They're like running around, and you're just murdering everybody. And you get to like the creator, and he's just like hi, I'm the owner of this company, and you're like,
I'm glad you
"Hi."
think murder is cool, Brian.
Yeah,
I'm
Brian,
just
that's,
saying.
I'm offended. Jeez. Now I gotta say, I think they really wanted to make us think with this twist. Like, look, in all these video games you're playing, is it actually a real world, and you're just treating it like a plaything?
Correct.
But then,
Let me
like I've said a
Execution.
few times, it just got stupid.
Let me put it on two different planes. That game executed it badly. BioShock Infinite executed it brilliantly. The BioShock Infinite. No, there's no JJ is not going to give anything away to JJ or anybody else. But BioShock Infinite has the same kind of message that you were talking about, Mark. But at the end, they do it so brilliantly that you're like, oh, I can see the two diverged.
Well, I'll be able to check it out because I just got BioShock Infinite
Excellent.
for $10 on
Well,
the Steam
let's
sale.
since we've drug this on
Good
long
job.
enough, let's move on to whether we recommend the game or not.
All right. Well, me personally, I would say this is the third game in the series that I've beaten. I've played the fourth one, Last Hope. I have not beaten it yet though because I just stopped playing it. But I own it, and I'm sure I'll get to it eventually. To be honest, yes, I do recommend it to a point. I would say play them in order. Play the first one first, play the second one second, play this one third, and then play the other one. Mainly because, honestly, if you play this one first, you're probably going to get turned off from the series. I really think the second one, hands down, is the best game in the series. But I think the first one sets it up so well. And there's references in this game to the first one, like the time gate. So I say yes, definitely check it out, but check out the other ones first, for sure. So, Mark, what do you think?
I highly recommend receiving it as a gift, and then playing most of the game, and then throwing it away.
Wow.
Jeez.
Anything else to add?
That's it.
All right.
Okay, mine's going to be somewhat long-winded, but not too bad. This game is why the PS2 was such a good system. Let me elaborate. Don't reach for the chip, because this is serious.
I'm not.
Look. Is it a great game? No. Is it a solid game? Yes.
Yeah.
This game shows why the PS2 was such a strong system. It's a JRPG game, and if you're a JRPG fan, you're going to eat it up. You're probably going to really get pissed off at the twist, but it's a great game. Throughout the thing, I was enjoying the whole time, and it's really why the PS2 is such a solid system, because it had games like this on it that weren't like blockbuster games, and so I recommend it to you if you absolutely love the PS2. That's kind of what I'll say. You'll understand what I'm talking about. If you're a PS2 guy and you're an RPG guy, I recommend the game.
I gotta say though, if you're just looking to get into the series, definitely check out the first and second ones first. Also, play the first one first because it's really short. Like, we're talking 15, 20 hours. So, and with that, we'll move on to our top 5 for this week. We are doing the top 5 games that we would like to see re-released. Basically, what that means is games that are like, A, they're hard to find now, B, really super expensive if you want to get them, or just games that we would like easier access to.
They haven't been
that have
digitally,
been out for a while.
Yeah, that haven't been like brought back digitally or whatever.
Yeah, like you probably won't see any Final Fantasy games on here because they're probably
they're all
pretty
back.
easy to find. They've all been re-released in some form or another, whether it's on Virtual Console or whatever.
Yep.
So, let's see. Who wants to start?
I'll go ahead and let Mark start.
I think Brian should start because he had a lot of fun making his list.
Brian did have a lot of
Oh
fun making
my
his
god!
list.
Well, I was trying to think of games that I've played, and honestly,
Oh, no wonder you had a hard time.
No, let me
Jeez.
explain. I
That
played
makes
so many
perfect
games in my
sense.
life, but I only play games that are good. So obviously they're going to be re-released, right? The good games, the ones that are crap, they're not re-released because no one's going to play them. So that's why I picked.
You realize how ridiculous you sound, right?
But I had a terrible time doing this list because games that are re-released, all the games that I was thinking of were like, oh yeah, they're on Good Old Games or they're on Steam or they're but.
I thought it was funny that you were mad that Steam has all these classic games.
I know,
I was mad,
They
but
How dare they
terrible
re-release
to
that? I
us.
want them to re-release it. Wait.
because I couldn't think. I had two on my list, and I was like, okay, this is not going well.
Oh man! All right, well, go ahead. Give us your 5.
All right, my number 5 is this is a series or a game I have not played yet. Lunar 2. I know Lunar 1 has been re-released, but I want to play that series. So obviously Lunar 2 is something that it's tough to find.
Sure.
It's super expensive. I looked on Amazon.
Lunar 1's only, as far as I know, has only been released on the tablets.
But still,
So, I
have
mean,
you seen how much Lunar 2 is on Amazon?
Not really, because I own it.
I'm not buying it. But
You
yeah,
wanna-
I
you
would
wanna
like
play-
them
How
to
much is it?
like $200.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. If so,
No,
Man.
look it up.
what have you heard about it?
Kyle's talked about it, and actually I watched him play like the first part of the first one.
You need a used copy for $30, dude.
What about the? No, I'm talking about the big box set.
Oh, you want all the bonuses and stuff?
Yes.
Oh. You just want to play. You can't. You realize if they re-release it on a virtual console, you're not going to
You're-
get the bonus stuff. You
you're-
can't download.
An art
You're
book.
a bonus.
Sure you
star.
can.
But that's
know.
my number 5. Like I said, my list is somewhat
Ridiculous? Yeah,
ridiculous
you're
because I
right.
couldn't think of any.
Oh, wait till you hear his number 4.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, Mark. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Grandia 2. I've never played Grandia or Grandia 2, but like Brian, it was difficult to come up with 5 of these. And it's supposed to be an amazing game. It was like one of the best RPGs on the Dreamcast. Got re-released on the PS2, although I heard that there were some issues with the graphics on the PS2 version.
I own it, but it's been so long since I've played it, to be honest with you.
I heard it had a lot of stuttering and the graphics
I
were more
couldn't even tell
washed
you. I don't
out.
remember. It's been years.
Well, that version sucks is what I heard.
All right.
So I'd like a new version like the Dreamcast version, please,
All right.
on
right on.
Steam.
Be kind of cool. All right, my number 5 is a game that I do actually own. It's Suikoden 2. To be honest, the main reason that I would like to see this re-released is
So other people can play it.
correct. I think that it's such an amazing game, and I think that they've re-released the first one. It's on PSN right now. I think they should totally put the second one on there. It's you think Lunar 2 is expensive on Amazon? You should check this one out. It's, for a new copy, it's $700.
Don't doubt it.
It's a great game. It really is. And I think anybody who is looking to get into the series at all, that's a great one to start with. And it's just everybody should get a chance to play it. So that's why I think Suikoden 2 should be re-released.
Excellent.
Brian, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is, now I'm going to preface this by saying that the Spawn comics are some of my favorites, and this one is Todd McFarlane's Spawn, the video game. This was released on the SNES. It was made by like some weird Japanese studio, some obscure one. I couldn't think of many games.
What?
I couldn't think, and it was a
What?
fun
What
game.
are you talking?
Had like Malbolgia and stuff in it.
That sounds like a disease.
That's the name of Satan in Spawn Universe.
Oh.
Malbolgia. And it had
It does sound like a disease.
It also
Yeah.
had the
It sounds like a Michael
the
Crichton book should be written about
Violator was in it. The Violator was in it. A lot of cool characters from the comics were in the game, and I enjoyed it. And you can't
Well,
find it anymore.
good. There you go.
If it comes to Virtual Console, I'll eat that up.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure there's a big clamoring for it right now. People are going to be writing letters left and right. Have you played it before?
I'll beat it. Yes.
Don't look at me like that's a weird thing to ask, because half the games we talked about, you're like, oh, I played it myself, but I watched my
I
brother
said
play
it. Spawn's like one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. Of course, I played it. I owned it at one point.
Mark,
It was a
what's your
very
number 4?
difficult game. I just want to put that out. Point that out there.
My
Very
number
difficult.
Please go ahead.
my number 4 is Mega Man Legends. There's a lot of different wants I have for this game. I want a Mega Man Legends 3, but Keiji Inafune doesn't work for them anymore. I want a remake because it is really terrible looking if you go back and play it now. But I would just like it in any form at all because it was such an awesome game and I have so many memories about it. And I think it's those two games are the only two 3D Mega Man games.
True.
Yeah,
I've unfortunately never played any of the Mega Man Legends games, but I've heard good things.
they're
So-
good and bad.
Oh, well.
You haven't played like any Mega Man game? Like
No, Mega Man games I have, just
Gotcha.
not Mega Man Legends.
Yeah, gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
of course. Come on. Mega
Is
Man.
Mega Man Legends the RPG kind of Mega Man game?
Yes, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Action RPG.
Yeah, it looks
Right on.
interesting. Okay, my number 4 is The Illusion of Gaia. From what I understand and what I've been told, this game is actually pretty cheap to get on SNES still. However, I don't really bust out my SNES that often, so I would just like to, be able to download it onto my Wii or something and just have it right there ready for me to go. I like collecting games left and right, absolutely, but this is one that I've never played before, but really, really want to because I've heard such great things. And I would just like to give it a shot and get to it as easily as possible.
Excellent.
So, Brian, number 3.
My number 3 is Skies of Arcadia for the Dreamcast. High five.
Why? How come I don't get a high five? That's my number 3.
I can't reach you.
It's a game in which you're sky pirates and there's a lot of ship battles. I watched Kyle play it for a little bit. Looked excellent.
Yep.
It looked ridiculously
There it
excellent.
is.
So I want to play it for myself since y'all make fun of me all the time for watching my brother play video games.
I have not played it either, actually, but I've heard such amazing things about this game, and I definitely want to check it out as well. And that's another one that's pretty
Well,
expensive if you want to buy it.
Kyle mentioned something to me that you would love it because it's literally like, what do you like about RPGs? Airships and world maps, and that's the whole game.
Yes,
That is what you
Sign
like.
me up.
Airships and world maps. Woo!
That is my number 3 as well. So good choice, sir.
Yeah.
Good choice. And neither one of us have ever played.
Nope. But I've seen some of it.
I've seen some of it as well. I saw the title screen once. Mark, what's your
Nice.
number 3?
My number 3 is Suikoden 5. Suikoden 5.
Suikoden.
Suikoden 5.
Suikoden!
I should have put all these games on the list. Well, I guess 2. 1 is available on
Yes, 1 is. It's the only one.
PlayStation Store. 2 is not. 3 is not. 4 is not. Tactics is not. And 5 is not. 5's awesome. It's actually become fairly rare. I was surprised to find out. So that's definitely on my list because I'd like them to.
Is it for PS2?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like them to see that there's still a market for Suikoden games in the main universe instead of making crappy DS games.
I would love to play. I haven't played 4 or 5. Those are the only 2 I haven't played, and I would love
Skip
to go
4.
through them. That's what everybody tells me, but I couldn't do it in good conscience. Even if I did, I'd be like, 4's the only one I haven't played. Yeah,
You'll skip
I'd
it.
just do it.
You'll play it a little bit and skip it.
Well, we'll see. All right, so Mark's number 3, Suikoden 5. Number 2, Brian.
My number 2 is one of my favorite N64 games of all time. It is Star Wars Shadows of the Empire.
Oh, I have such good memories.
Oh,
of this
man.
game.
The first time you play and you're in Hoth and you get to actually do the wraparound of the...
Yep.
Oh, and like I love that game, how they mixed... They mix ship battles with also ground battle. Like, some missions, like the very end mission, you're flying in Prince Sizor's his like battleship or battle station, and you have to fly through kind of like the Millennium Falcon and kill the core.
Yep.
And I mean, just it bridged the Shadows of the Empire and the gap between Shadows of the Empire and or not. Wow. What? And that's it. My talking skills have gone to crap. So
It bridged between
Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Yes,
Yeah.
shows the events. And
I was gonna just see if you figured it out.
You play
on
as
your own.
Dash Rendar. I'd really like to delve back into this game again. I had very fond memories of it.
Very, very good game. The levels though are like really long.
Yeah, and hard. It was
Yeah.
a tough game.
So, but it was a blast. All right. So your number 2, Star Wars: Shadows of the Empire, and that was for Nintendo 64, right? Yeah.
In 64, correct.
Mark, what's your number 2?
Deja Vu.
Hey-o.
My number 2 is Skies of Arcadia for all of the same reasons that have been stated.
See
Anything specific?
above.
Is it because you saw the title screen once?
No, I never played it. But no, it was
See,
like it
we
was
all
one of the,
just really want to play this game.
it was one of the top Dreamcast games.
Yeah.
Came out on GameCube and fixed a lot of the problems. Loading times are sped up. There were no frame rate issues anymore. Yada yada yada. But that was a decade ago itself.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. My number 2, I highly doubt. I don't know if either one of you have heard of this game. No, man. 2 games actually. The Lufia series. There's a few other side games, but I'm not really big on those. Lufia 1 and Lufia 2. Lufia 1 starts off with you're playing these like heroes, and you literally take down the end guys of the game right off the bat. And then the game starts by you're going generations down the line, and you play as the hero's descendant. And then Lufia 2 is that whole precursor, those leading up to that opening moment in the first game. Honestly, they are just bare bone cookie cutter RPGs for the Super Nintendo. It really does not get more basic than those, but just as far as nostalgia factor, I would love to go back and play them again. Lufia 2 is very hard to find. Lufia 1 I own, but the battery is dead inside the Super Nintendo cartridge, and I can't save my game. And I realize that I could change the battery out, but I'm scared to do that, to be honest with you, because I don't want to ruin it, and I don't trust myself. But I would love to see these games re-released, and I've heard rumors for the past couple of years that it's coming to Virtual Console, but haven't seen anything yet. So we'll see. We will see. So Lufia series for my number 2. Brian, what's your number 1? I have no idea what this is.
I'm going to say this right now. Look it up for me, JJ. When was the release date? I'm pretty sure it was 1993, which makes it 20 years old. I played this probably in like 1995, perhaps. But it's Maniac Mansion 2: Day of the Tentacle. If anybody's ever played it, you know how good this game is. It was written by
1993.
Yeah, 1993.
Yep.
It was written by Schafer, Tim Schafer, who does Psychonauts,
Brutal Legends.
You can tell it's his style too. It's a very it was back when he worked for LucasArts. One of the funniest games I've ever played. And what's fun about this game is that if you haven't played Maniac Mansion 1, in the game, Day of the Tentacle, there is a computer desk you can sit at and play through the entirety of Maniac Mansion 1 in the game. So you're playing the first game in the second game. No, it's a point-and-click adventure game that is absolutely a blast. I absolutely loved it. I was like in 5th grade when I played it, and I just remember laughing constantly. It's if you have played it before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I looked up. You can still play it, but it involves buying the old disc, the CD, getting some program that runs that disc because it's an old DOS disc, and then you have to find a DOS simulator. So it's like
essentially you just want it to be re-released.
Oh God, yes.
All right.
I want them to re-release it, but it's
Yeah,
LucasArts game, so it's probably not ever going to happen.
All right, Maniac Mansion 2: Day of the Tentacle. Interesting. Mark, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is Suikoden
Every time.
2.
Suikoden.
I'm so used to saying Suikoden.
And you own this game as well.
I do. I bought this 8 years ago, maybe. I think it was about 8 years ago for $120.
Ho!
It's cheaper than I got it for.
As Mark would say, ho!
Woo! It's just such a good game. All these games are like Shakespearean with these characters, betrayal, and
it's not just save the world. It's, stop these political
exactly
ideals from coming to fruition. And it's so great. It really is.
I can't say anything without spoiling it, so just I wish it was out for something and I could play it again.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I can play it again, but
And
I
if
wish
you
other
listen-
people could play it.
If you listen to our episode where we did our top 5 villains, Mark and I had Luca Blight from that game, who's just a bad dude.
Yep.
He really is. So, it's such a great game. I hope they really do re-release that one.
Yeah. I would say Suikoden 2 is like Game of the Thrones JRPG edition.
Nice.
I could see that. Yeah.
Did I say Game of the Thrones?
Game
You
of
did.
the Thrones.
Game of the Thrones.
The Thrones are playing a game, apparently.
There we go.
Jeez. Suikoden 2 for Mark, number 1. My number 1 is The Secret of Evermore.
What is the secret of Evermore?
It's just like Secret of Mana, except it's not multiplayer, which I always thought was kind of meh. But it's just a boy and his dog going through this world, and it plays the exact same way. It's like, Zelda with experience points. You use alchemy instead of magic, and it's such a great game. And it really, really is. And I really, really hope they re-release it at some point. Once they re-released Secret of Mana, I was like, and I like Secret of Mana better, don't get me wrong. But I was, hoping, soon after, like, maybe they will. But, you know what, I haven't even heard rumors about this sucker getting released, so I've just heard a lot of people want it, and that's it. So we'll see. Honestly, Earthbound would have probably been my number 1, but it was released.
Yeah, virtual
recently.
console.
So yeah, Secret of Evermore, my number 1.
Very good.
Top 5s.
Top 5.
Top 5s.
Completion.
All right. All right, with that, we will go ahead and move on to our emails and a couple of quick shout-outs. We got a couple of iTunes reviews. First one is from Dominic Biz 3. Thank you very much. And the other one is from the name on it says Mohawk, but then there's a bunch of symbols, and I think it's supposed to be a face after that. So Mohawk
face.
symbol, Mohawk face. That's
Mohawk
a good one.
face.
I didn't even think
There
of
we
that.
go.
Yeah.
Touche. Thank you guys very much. We really, really appreciate it. And again, if anyone out there, if you haven't subscribed to us on iTunes or rated us on there, please do. We can use all the help we can get. Let's see. I think we got an email, right? Right.
We did.
We did. It's pretty lengthy, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he, essentially compliments us for on the show and everything. And where does it say? Rob. There he is. Rob's his name. I'm like looking for the thing, and I'm like, oh, that's right. People put their name at the end of an email.
His name is Rob.
Now I feel dumb. So, but Rob basically, tells us that he heard about us through the RPG cast and, likes our show, and we really appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. But he asks, he says this. He says, I suppose I could throw in at least one video game related question, so here goes. Do you have any love for any of the King's Field games? In North America, we've had King's Field 1 and 2 for the original PlayStation, which were actually the second and third King's Field games in Japan. And we apparently never got the first one here. And King's Field, the Ancient City for the PlayStation 2. He says he's played through and loved them all. I've heard of these games, and I wasn't really sure what he was talking about when I first read the email, but then when I Googled it, I saw the cover for it, and I remember seeing it in stores, obviously years and years and years ago. And shoot, anything with a sword on the front cover is gonna,
Pique your
make
interest.
me want it. Absolutely. I never did get the chance to pick it up though. But after looking it up and stuff, I think it's something that I want to check out. So have either you guys ever heard of it or played any of them? Mark's just, is that a yes or no?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. All right.
Mark, very simple.
I think, and I sent him an email back, but I think you might have a little bit of interest in this if you look it up, Mark. When you get home, just kind of Google it and stuff, because I think it looks pretty cool.
Okay.
It's definitely something that I'll end up want to check out here very soon. So again, thank you, Rob. We really appreciate the kind words, and hopefully we can keep doing what we're doing. I think that was pretty much it as far as emails and shout-outs and junk. We'll go ahead and go on to the bi-weekly question. Mark, give me a noise that reflects the transition from brick and mortar to the digital age?
Ka-ching! Ka-ching!
Well, it's better than Morse code, I guess.
He had a kind of Morse code almost-esque move in there.
He's like, you can tell he's thinking about it in his mind.
He
like,
wanted to just go
what
beep,
can
beep,
I do
beep,
other
beep,
than
beep,
beep? Yeah. Oh, man. All right. So we asked on our Facebook page in the last episode, in the age of Steam and PlayStation Store, is pre-ordering games at brick-and-mortar stores still relevant? Mark, can you, again, explain a little bit what that means?
Sure. So it's essentially, digital versus physical copy.
Right.
But I want to think more about, pre-ordering, if you know what I mean. What's the point of pre-ordering now? So that you can get a bunch of tacked-on extras that GameStop makes up so that you have to come in? Like, if you pre-order it, you get this rifle and Call of Duty 4, and if you don't pre-order it, then you have to earn it? I don't know.
It depends on what your KDR is, bro.
Oh, exactly.
So, I mean, if you prestiged a couple of times, I mean, you got no problems there.
I've prestiged. I did a cool flip, and I was really prestigious.
Don't even, because I know you play Call of Duty. Don't even.
I honestly don't know what prestiging means.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I played Call of Duty 4 back when it
Oh,
was
there
good.
it is.
Hold on, but they didn't have. Ho! Hold on. Hey!
Call of Duty 4.
Hey! I played Call of Duty 4 right when it came out, and I was excellent at it, but they didn't have prestige back then.
You're getting a little liberal with those chips.
Yeah, I wasn't rambling.
Part of it is I'm hungry.
Oh,
I know. I'm hungry too.
So,
Someone take over this
anyways.
conversation.
Yeah. So, anyways, we got a couple of responses on the Facebook page here. Brian, your brother Kyle says, I've said it a million times, physical copies are way better. They look nice on the shelf. I agree. I definitely agree. I like physical copies of games. I think if the game is specifically released, like digital only, I don't really care if they ever come out with a physical copy. If I've got it on there first, I'm happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
I like Steam. I have no desire to get, boxes for the games that come out on there.
Yeah.
So it's not really that big of a deal. Would I prefer a physical copy initially? Absolutely. I really like just, being able to hold the game in my hand, look through the instruction booklet, read the back of the box, and, display it on my shelf. Let's see, we got another one here. Zach, he says, they look nice on the shelf, and I hate filling my hard drive up when I don't have to. But needless to say, it's hard to argue late-night drunken PSN and Steam purchases.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
I think
Absolutely.
we're definitely probably at least one generation away from really embracing digital. Because we got these 500 gigabyte hard drives, and the games are 40 gigs at least now?
That's what I'm saying. Like, for me, on my computer, I'm trying to get rid of. In fact, I bought Mass Effect 2 recently on Origin when it was $5, just so I could get rid of the disc that I have. On my computer, I don't find it necessary to have all those discs. However, that's only because I can control the size of the hard drive. Like, I have a terabyte.
Yeah.
I have a 64 gig solid state drive, and then I have a terabyte hard drive. I can go out and buy another terabyte hard drive if I need to.
$50
For consoles, though, it's a different story. What do they have? 500 gigabyte hard drive with some of the games costing 40 gigabytes to put on your system.
Yep.
You don't have the room to just digitally download, so physical copies are a must.
Absolutely.
So on my computer, I am all for digital, and on consoles, I have to have the physical copy, obviously.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to say. I think we're moving towards
Yes,
where we're really
in that
not going to
direction.
have, a choice. I think Microsoft tried to do that.
They wanted to.
They jumped the gun.
We're getting to the point where we're going to create an MMO in which the characters are going to come into our world and then murder all the developers. Had to say it.
So, ignoring that,
God.
I do have to say, when was the last time we had a shortage on a video game release? When was the last time
Never.
you walked into a store and it was sold out?
JRPGs do that all the time.
That's because they have limited prints and they refuse to get
You
digital.
asked a question, I answered it.
They refuse to go digital.
No, but you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
There's, I think, like a lot of, I mean, almost any case where you've got the option for either or.
Mhm.
I mean, digital ones are going. It's just the way it is.
I think the last time it happened to me was Final Fantasy XIV because they turned off the digital purchasing and that created a rush on the stores.
Yeah,
So-
I always and the excuses they give, like when that happens, when you can't buy digital, like after a certain amount of time, they're like, "Oh, we ran out of digital copies." How can you run out of a digital copy? Like,
Well, in their case, they're trying to slow
they
down
spent all
subscribers.
They also spent all this money on producing these physical
Yeah,
copies,
that's
so
true.
they got to make some money back on those somehow.
Mhm.
But no, and yeah, obviously the traffic and stuff too. But
So I think right now
on.
it's kind of a synergistic relationship where there's merit to physical copies, but also the fact that digital is available really eases things up. I don't have to wait at midnight for a game anymore, which is awesome.
Part
in my
of that's
book.
fun though, right? Like I'd go to a midnight release just for the atmosphere.
yeah, it's like when a game comes out or a system especially
Yeah,
comes out. And
well-
they do a midnight release. Oh, it's a fun time.
But I'm
It
just
is.
saying, like, if it's a game you want to go to, like if you're really into the
Sure.
game, if you go to that midnight release, you're likely to find like-minded people.
Like when Mark and I met up, GTA came out, and when
Yep.
Brian went there for Call of Duty Ghosts. I mean, we were.
Liar.
Yeah, he bought that
sorry,
online.
It's Call of Duty 4.
I bought Call of Duty 4 on the computer.
Sure. All right. So I think we answered that very well. Next episode, we are going to. It's a pretty simple one. I think that it just goes hand in hand with our new segment, Spotlight. Have you ever donated to a site like Kickstarter or Greenlight? If so, what was the project and what was it about that project that made you donate to it? We'll talk about that in episode 13.
13.
Yep.
Yeah.
Episode 13.
Cool.
Bad luck episode where one of us is probably going to die.
We're also going to be doing in episode 13 a review of Mass Effect 2 and possibly a review of the new Zelda that just came out, Link Between Worlds. We don't know yet.
Yeah. That'll be TBD.
It depends on if Brian can get in a position to get it.
Christmas time has really tightened my wallet.
Sure enough. No, I think we all understand that at this point. We're also going to be doing our top 5 video game settings, like game worlds. That's going to be a cool one. So, let's see. Email us at frozennorthpodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/thefrozennorth. We always got people talking there and pretty good discussions on some of this stuff. Check us out on Twitter at FN Podcast. Ha ha ha. Let's all laugh at the FN
Get it? Because
Podcast.
FN podcast makes me think of other things.
Oh, boy. Please subscribe to and rate us on iTunes and let us know what you think. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. We're always trying to improve. And please just, tell your friends. Tell everybody you know that's into gaming. Let them know about us.
That's right.
We would appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And shoot us an email or something. We like talking to people about games.
We love games. We love the games.
So, other than that, you guys got anything else?
No.
No. All right then.
I just want to talk about for about 5 or 6 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. I'll let you walk.
Oh, I just thought of a con for Star Ocean till the end of time.
Oh my
My
god!
gosh.
Play the music. Play the
Just-
outro.
yeah, he's going to
Play
say
me out.
it's really fun.
Play them out. Play them out.
Play me out. All right.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. My name is JJ.
My name is Brian.
My name is Steam Autumn Sale.
Keep on gaming.
This song was made available via the Creative Commons Attribution License. The song, Somewhere in the Stars, was written and produced by SoundCloud user _TWC.